Olympic speed skater, two-time U.S. sprint champion and master sprint world champion Rebecca Bradford, 30, of Salt Lake City, Utah, has faced more than her share of competitors in races, but her greatest challenge came from within. Deep vein thrombosis, or DVT, is a condition that causes dangerous blood clots to form in deep veins. They can affect anyone, even young, healthy, world-class athletes. 2 years ago, clots traveled through Bradford's bloodstream and lodged in both her lungs. Known as pulmonary embolism, PE, the situation almost put an end to not just her skating career, but also her life. Bradford had never felt stronger than she did after competing in long track in the Winter Olympics in Vancouver in 2010, where she did well but didn't medal. While training afterward, she couldn't find her strength or her confidence though. She was in so much knee pain that she couldn't do a crossover, a skating move that involves crossing one foot over the other, she recalled. Although Bradford thought her pain were related to her early training schedule, she decided to check it out. That's when a doctor diagnosed arthritis in both her knees. He told her that if she didn't have surgery right away, she'd need total knee replacements by the time she was 35. Bradford opted for the surgery in October 2011, even though it meant she couldn't compete for a while. While recovering, Bradford completed her college degree in psychology and planned her June 2012 wedding to inline skater Eric Plath. Developing DVT without knowing it a few months before the wedding, Bradford began birth control that contained the hormones estrogen and progestin. Her legs began to swell. Though there's a connection between hormones and DVT, her gynecologist told her it was her body adapting to the birth control. No one knew she had an inherited blood clotting disorder known as Factor V Leiden. Normally, certain blood proteins such as Factor V help prevent excess bleeding. People with the Factor V Leiden mutation, however, don't break down Factor V in the way they should. Factor V stays in the blood longer and increases the chances of developing dangerous blood clots, said Jack Ansell, MD, chairman of the Department of Medicine at Lenox Hill Hospital in New York City and member of the National Blood Clot Alliance Medical and Scientific Advisory Board. Women often don't know they have blood clot disorders such as Factor V Leiden until they have a DVT or PE. When Bradford returned to training, she was having trouble breathing and felt tired all the time. Again, she chalked it up to her rigorous schedule and having had an eventful year. An invite to play ultimate frisbee may have been a lifesaver. During the game, she collided pretty hard with a friend. I immediately felt intense pain in my back and whispered to my husband he had better take me home, she said. Related, 6 simple steps to avoid deep vein thrombosis. A month of doctor visits and testing ultimately revealed a fist-sized area where blood had pooled around a lung, a result of the frisbee collision. An appointment with a lung specialist was made, but her condition quickly deteriorated in the days leading up to it. I had to crawl to the toilet to use it. I couldn't get air in my body to walk, she recalled. Her body was shutting down, and Plath had to take her straight to the ER. All Bradford remembers was curling up in a fetal position at the bottom of her hospital bed, hoping she would stop breathing to ease the pain. Tests done in the hospital found she had a pulmonary embolism in both lungs, partial infarction, dead lung tissue, and excess fluid around her right lung from some blood clots that had burst. Bradford was given blood thinners by injection. These drugs don't break up clots, but they do stop them from growing larger and new ones from forming, Dr. Ansell said. Eventually, existing clots dissolve on their own. Bradford stayed on the treatment of daily injections for 3 months. Athlete Rebecca Bradford knows from experience, if you have chest pain, get medical care right away. Looking to the future, Bradford recovered enough to compete for a spot on the U.S. skating team headed to the Olympics in Sochi in 2014. I missed qualifying for my second Olympic team by 1/10 of a second, she said. Usually, it's a matter of kicking my leg over the finish line and this time I didn't. I stood up. Plath and Bradford are hoping to start a family. Ideally, she said, she'd like to have a child and possibly come back and skate in Korea in 2018. Those 5 rings are very motivating to an athlete, she said. If Bradford becomes pregnant, she will have to be closely monitored for blood clots. This is because women are more susceptible to blood clots while pregnant and for 6 weeks after giving birth. Bradford believes in sharing her story because, she said, it's easy for young women who appear healthy to be misdiagnosed. As she learned, it's important that people know the signs of deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism and not ignore them. If you're short of breath or have chest pain, seek medical care right away. Bradford said. It could be a lifesaver. DVT signs and symptoms. According to the National Heart, Lung and Blood Institute, the indicators of deep vein thrombosis (DVT) can include leg swelling with redness and discoloration, leg pain and tenderness, warmth where the leg is swelling or tender, pulmonary embolism. Signs can include being short of breath, feeling pain with deep breaths, coughing up